Okay, so what in the world could a classic Hollywood adventure movie about greed and gold have to do with a 100-page corporate technical report? You know, the kind filled with geological data and financial projections. You'd probably think absolutely nothing. But today, we're going to connect these two very different things and tell one incredible story about the timeless hunt for treasure in Mexico's Sierra Madre Mountains. Let's dig in. It all kicks off with one of the most famously cynical endings in movie history. I mean, after this brutal, paranoid search for gold, the treasure is just gone. The wind literally just laughs and blows it all away. This bleak, ironic finale really sets the stage for everything we're about to explore. All right, first things first, let's set the scene in the world of fiction with the classic story that really put this entire region on the map. So, the treasure of the Sierra Madre, it's such a classic tale. You have three men completely pushed to the edge, and they actually strike it rich. But here's the thing. Instead of solving their problems, all that gold just amplifies their worst impulses. Suspicion, greed, violence, and it ultimately destroys them. It's this powerful warning about human nature. But to really get why the story is so cynical, you have to understand the fascinating and very mysterious man who wrote it.
The author's name was B. Traven, and he was, to put it mildly, a total enigma.
This guy didn't just avoid the spotlight, he went to incredible lengths to hide. He actually created a false identity, a man named Hal Crows, who would show up and pretend to be his agent. When the famous director John Huston wanted to buy the movie rights, he dealt with this Hal Crows, but everyone pretty much knew they were talking to Traven himself. So why go to all that trouble? What was he hiding from?
And here it is, the big reveal. B. Traven wasn't his real name at all. He was Rhett Marut, a political radical who was part of a socialist uprising in Germany right after World War I. When it was crushed, he was arrested and sentenced to death, but he somehow managed to escape. He was a fugitive for the rest of his life. And suddenly, all that elaborate deception makes perfect sense.
So this is the crucial point. Traven wasn't just writing about greed and capitalism from some comfortable academic distance. His views were forged in a failed revolution, a cause for which he was literally sentenced to die. That deep cynicism about the hunt for wealth, that wasn't just a theme in a book, it was his life. And this is where our story pivots from fiction to fact. Because the Sierra Madre isn't just some literary setting, it's a very real place, and the hunt for its treasure is happening right now as we speak. Take a look at this map. This isn't from some old storybook. This is from a modern technical report, and it shows the exact location of the La Guitarra silver mine. Right now, a company is proposing a multi-million-dollar plan to get it running again. The fictional treasure hunt and the real one are happening in the very same corner of the world. And people have been looking for treasure here for a very, very long time. As you can see from this timeline, Spanish miners first struck silver here way back in the 1500s. By the 1700s, this place was known for bonanza-grade ore, basically some of the richest in all of Mexico. After a long break, big corporations fired things back up in the 1990s. The quest for this treasure is a nearly 500-year-old story. This brings us to a really fascinating comparison. How has the prospector, the actual treasure hunter, changed from Traven's time to today? In the story, the prospectors are these desperate guys gambling everything they have on a long shot. Today, the person leading the charge is what the technical report calls a qualified person. This isn't some grizzled loner. This is a certified geologist with degrees and professional affiliations who is legally required to make sure their reports are not misleading. The rugged individualist has been replaced by a team of highly regulated experts. And the technology? Whoa, that's changed just as dramatically. The tools are no longer pickaxes and shovels. Today's prospectors use core drilling to pull up thousands of meters of rock samples from deep underground. They don't pan in a stream. They build complex 3D computer models of the ore. And they don't just judge it by sight. They send it to certified labs for incredibly detailed chemical analysis. So, what does all this modern science and expertise cost? Well, the stakes are a little bit higher than what three guys could scrounge together back in the day. This right here is the budget for just phase 1 of the plan. This is just the prep work. Forget shovels, we're talking about a mineral resource estimate, a plant design, an economic assessment. Just the planning before a single rock is moved for profit costs nearly $1 million. This is not a gamble. It's a highly calculated, capital-intensive corporate venture.
And that's just the beginning. The proposed budget for Phase 2, which is when they actually start drilling and adding to the plant, is over $5.4 million. We've gone from a treasure that could fit in a few saddlebags to a project that requires millions in investment just to get off the ground.
But here's the twist. This is where our two stories, the classic fiction and the corporate report, start to sound surprisingly similar. Despite all the science and all the money, the ending is far from certain.
Remember B. Traven's philosophy? No happy endings. Things are left up in the air. Nobody really comes out ahead. It's a worldview that sees these big human endeavors, especially when they're about chasing wealth, as fragile and often futile. Now just look at the real-world risks, pulled straight from that technical report. This same mine shut down in 2018 because of unfavorable economics. The report admits there are maintenance issues that have to be fixed. That whole multi-million-dollar Phase 2 plan, it's completely dependent on Phase 1 working out. And on top of all that, the project's success hinges on the totally volatile prices of silver and gold on the global market. So despite all the science, the ending is still very much up in the air. So it leaves us with this fascinating question. We've traded rugged individuals for corporate consultants, we've traded pickaxes for 3D models, and we've traded a desperate gamble for a multi-million-dollar business plan. But when you get right down to it, the immense cost, the technical hurdles, the reliance on unpredictable market forces, is the modern quest for treasure really any less of a risk than it was in B. Traven's day? Has the fundamental nature of the gamble really changed at all?